So welcome again, and this time we are going to discuss a topic on how to run successful projects. It's most of us have projects. A project is just any undertaking that has a very clear beginning and a very clear end with specific deliverables that should meet a certain aim, which was very clear at the very beginning. And we have so many projects. We can talk about a project to construct houses, low-cost houses. We can talk about construction of a bridge. We can talk of just a report. All those are projects. So the question that we want to discuss here is how to run successful projects, not just running projects for the sake of it, because we've had occasions where people undertake a certain project and they are not able to deliver the results that are so expected. So we just want to look at how we can make this whole process on whatever it is that you're supposed to deliver on very successful, very easy, enjoyable, and with desirable results. And those tips are some of the things that we want to discuss here. We may not discuss all of them, but what is very key for you to end up with a very successful project. So our topic today is how to run successful projects, and we'll start by the obvious steps when we talk about project. That project, the process of undertaking a certain project. And normally we start with this first step, which is project conception and initiation. And this is where you come up with the idea of what you want, how you want, how you want it to be. It's basically the idea, conceptualization of the idea, and basically putting it down on paper. And it is at this point that you might want to share with the people who are going to do the job. So we simply call it project conception and initiation. You are getting the idea, putting the idea on paper, and basically putting the first key steps in motion, so that we can now possibly get the people who are going to participate in undertaking the project, and who will now proceed with ensuring that they deliver what is expected of the project. So that is the first step. Then after conceptualization, that's the idea is very clear, and we have already initiated, we have made the first baby steps towards the realizing the project. We come to the second step, which is project definition and planning. And under project definition and planning, here we get the specifics for that particular project. So we want to get the specifics, we want to understand the project well, we want to know the exact deliverables, the timing. We are trying to make everything now fit into what we actually want. And when we talk about planning, we talk of the, how far are we going to go? That is the scope. We talk of the budget. That is the resources that are going to be required. We talk of the time frame, or the timelines that are going to be possibly to be consumed during the project implementation. We talk of, and these timelines can be well captured using the Gantt chart. We talk of how communication is going to be carried out, how we are going to manage this. These are the normal things that we do at the planning stage. Planning, to say the least, is the 5 W's and the 1 H. So we are looking at who will do what, where, why, when, and how. And all these things will require what? Resources at some point. The person who does is a resource. What will be done, those activities will require resources. Where, why the activities are being done, this is about the objectives, the timelines. When all this is basically planning. When you can answer all these questions, you are way ahead in terms of planning. And when you follow all these things that we've just talked about here, we narrow down to who, what, where, why, when. So basically here we want to get the specifics about the project, and we want to think ahead of the project. We're trying to preempt the future so that we can be certain of the future today. That is what planning is all about. You can see the future, the steps are very clear, you know what you're supposed to do when that time finally comes, because everything has been clearly stipulated on paper. So yours is just to follow what is on paper, and it's a very important stage when we talk about project implementation. And then I think I'll be talking about this as one of the key ingredients when we talk about successful projects again in our next slides. Then after defining the key terms and the specifics and the planning, the next thing is execution. And under execution, this is actualizing. Now you are putting the plan in motion. And what is very key here is tracking the progress, checking on the performance levels. Are people delivering as per the expectations? And you need to have all these systems in place that can track the performance as you proceed with them, delivering what is expected or achieving what is expected. KPIs, key performance indicators. Just be very close with the key performance. What will show if you are actually on the right track or if you are deviating from the right track. So that if you are deviating from the right track, you take the corrective measures well in advance. Quality, you should have the metrics that can show whether you are getting the right quality, the right quantities, and of course, we continue predicting the future, what the future has for you, what you are going to get if you continue producing at that speed. It's always very important to predict so that in case of any modifications to improve or to increase the speed or to reduce the speed or to improve on the quality, this forecast can always help you. You are trying to forecast or rather predicting what the future has for you in line with the current rates of production. So that is very important when you are executing the project, so that at any given point in time you are checking your progress so that you can take any corrective measures should need arise. And the corrective measures is actually not captured here in step number 3, but captured in step number 4. You can see performance and control. Though in today's world we say don't wait for things to go wrong before you can now put the corrective measures. And so in most of the cases when you are implementing, it's always advisable that the control measures are put, they flow together with the implementation. So as we implement, control is also running side by side, so that we can be able to notice all those deviations in real time. If we notice in real time, it means we are preventing, or we are basically trying to check on those bigger deviations which you may not want, and late deviations. Sometimes you come to learn of a deviation when it's too late. There's nothing you can do about it. So it's always good that we run them concurrently. As we implement, we also put measures in place just to check on our progress, and in case of anything, we get to know in real time that, hey, there's a variance here, there's a deviation here, and then we take the corrective measures before things run out of hand. So all these control measures, we are talking about objectives. Are we in line with the objectives that we are supposed to achieve at the end of a given period? Remember the characteristics of objectives, that they must be SMART. They must be specific, they must be measurable, achievable, real-time, time-bound, and realistic. So what we are saying is that if you have the objectives, keep on checking, comparing your performance with the objectives. Am I in line with the objectives? For example, if I was to sell 10 units in 1 month, then in this case it means at least I need to sell 3 units per day. I need to sell 1 unit in 3 days. 1 unit in 3 days. So if I've gone 6 days or 9 days without selling, that already tells me that there is something that is not basically running correctly, that I need to take the corrective measures well in advance. So quality measures to check on the quality, measures to check on the effort and cost. How much are we spending in terms of effort, in terms of cost, performance level? Are we on the right track? Are we achieving? All this should be put in line with as you actualize the whole plan. So plan, then when actualizing, control should also run side by side so that in case of any deviation, you're able to monitor. Initially, it was a whole thing that will come later after implementation, but sometimes it might be too late for you to do anything other than reporting. And we don't want to report things which we could have salvaged in time. So after this, once you are done with the implementation part, of course, we are going to hand over the deliverables, what is expected of you. Every project must have the deliverables, that this is what is expected at the end of the project. So hand over the deliverables, and of course, it's very important to hold a postmortem just to check if everything ran as you had expected. It's very important because you are going to have another project maybe in the future, so that you learn from the mistakes or from the successes that you possibly enjoyed in the previous project. It's always important to carry the lessons along, and that's why postmortem is very important, and basically reporting on your achievements. Now, this whole discussion is about how to run successful projects. This is just the process, the normal process of running projects, that it starts from conception to defining and planning to execution to performance and control, and then you close the project. But how do we run successful projects? I'll make it very simple. 2 things, very important. Number 1, plan the project. Number 2, execute the project. So the 2 things that we are talking about here are: 1, plan the project. Number 2, we have execute the plan. Plan and execute. Those are the 2 most important things that we are going to discuss here. The assumption here being that the owners of the project have already defined everything, the specifics. They have told you what they want, the deliverables. They've given you the mandate to do the job, to start performing on that particular project. What you need to do, number 1, is plan the project. And planning the project has everything to do with the figuring out the goal of the project. What is the goal of the project? And this will take you direct to the deliverables. This is what possibly the project is all after. So it is these goals that will show you how, will direct you basically how you are going to carry out the entire process. If you don't have a goal, then chances are that you will just be running helter-skelter, not knowing where to go. And that is very dangerous. We've seen people who have started even constructing houses, and they really don't know how that house should look like at the end of it all. So that every time they are constructing, and at times they are even, you see them again demolishing part of the building, and changing the plans as things go around. Yeah, that might be very expensive. It might be time consuming. It's, all those things, and we don't want such stuff to occur when we are very serious when we are doing serious kind of projects. So what we need to know is to be very clear about the goals, and whatever the task that is before us, the deliverables must be very clear, that this is what is expected of us, and it's expected within this timelines. That should be very clear. And why are we doing what we are doing? It's not just deliverables. The deliverables have a reason. We are delivering this because we want to achieve this. So make sure that all this, the reason why you are doing what you are doing is very clear to you, and that will help in shaping the project. If you are not very clear on that, chances are very high that you are not going to get it right. You will do the project, complete it, but it might not serve the purpose for which it was intended to serve. So let it be very clear, this is the purpose. If we are talking about just a report, the report should be attached to the vision of that organization, not the mission. All these things should be very clear, to the goals of the organization, the objectives, and then we should see how this the project comes in to play its role in meeting all this, because these define what a company is all about. So figure out the goal of the project, let it be very clear before you can start. Once you are very clear on what the project expects of you, then single out all the activities. These are the activities, all the activities that will help you deliver that particular project. So it should be very clear. If you are talking about maybe construction, there are quite a lot of activities. Please carry out, have a checklist, make sure that you have all the activities, all of them have been listed very well. Don't leave even one out. And the best way to do this is to, if you have experience, you've done this before, then you must be having the checklist. Or you can also have a checklist from others who have already done, or you can possibly just involve the stakeholders. Like if you are constructing a house, for example, or a bridge, then we might have different professionals involved at different stages. So you might want each of these professionals to list down the activities that he or she will be doing when we talk about his specialty. So have all the activities listed, and then with all the activities listed, basically attach the timelines to each of these activities. When are they supposed to be done? How long will they take? And you can come up with something like a Gantt chart. A Gantt chart basically shows what activities will be done at what period of time, and that sequence, which activity will follow which activity, like that. So this is activity number 1, followed by this, followed by this, followed by this, and each activity will take this particular kind of time frame, like 2 weeks, 1 week, 3 weeks, like that. So it should flow and all the way up to the delivery. And this is very important because it guides you on when it comes to actualization, what you are supposed to do at what particular stage of progress. Then we've said have a goal, be very clear what is expected of you, then all the activities. Number 3, have a leader. A leader is very important when you talk about a successful project. Have a leader. Very, very, very important. A leader is somebody who influences, somebody who has that, has the vision, and he leads, he directs the rest, that this is where you're supposed to go. This is the route that you're supposed to do if you are to achieve what we are to achieve. Somebody who has an influence and others can listen to him. Somebody who is supposed to take the rest to the goal, basically what they are after. So unless we have a leader, we may not have unity of purpose. So it means that different people will be doing and thinking different things, and in most cases this will end up in conflicts, it will end up in problems, it will end up in disagreements, it will end up in disputes, which will end up wasting a lot of time, wasting wasting resources, and make the whole affair expensive for nothing. But if we have unity of purpose, one leader, it's not just a leadership, but have a leader. This is singular. Have a leader, because that is very important when you talk about unity of purpose. And this leader should make sure that all these things are in line with the project. He should come up with a structure. He should come up with systems. He should apply the best leadership style that can accommodate all these people. He should make sure that the followers are happy and they are well motivated. He should make sure that they have the necessary skills. He should come up with the help of the same followers, come up with the best strategies that can help them achieve the best results within the shortest time possible, or with the very few resources having been utilized. So, and it should also shape the values that will help them achieve things like honesty, things like integrity, things like the transparency, things like teamwork. All these things will come from the leader. And so it's very important that we have a leader who will consolidate all our efforts and lead us in one direction. Otherwise, this is where most of the projects fail again. When we have 2 different voices, 3 different voices, 4 different voices, that could be a problem. Let any project have a leader, and then this leader, of course, he can delegate some of his powers, but that doesn't mean that he ceases to be accountable. The accountability rests with the leader, and because he's answerable for everything, he still maintains or retains the powers. So make sure every project has a leader. The leader should be answerable for each and everything that happens in that particular, within the project. Whether it's present or not, responsibility and accountability are 2 different things. He can delegate the responsibility, but accountability cannot be delegated. So that means in case of anything, it all starts with this person at the top. You will be very lucky if because there is a difference between a leader and a manager. You will be very lucky if you have a manager who is also a leader. And that's what we normally advocate for. If you can have a manager who has leadership qualities, then that is very good for you. It will be very good for you. So that he runs the whole thing with those leadership characteristics. Now, once you have you have identified a leader to lead the rest, this leader should basically make sure that he fits the right persons for the right job. This is where we have yet another very big problem when it comes to project execution. And this basically happens just before the execution, because the execution has not started. We are still planning. Even this, the finding the leader, activities, this is just planning. So finding the right person for the right job, very important. Look at the skill set, look at the passion, look at the attitude of this person, look at the capabilities, abilities, all those, the knowledge of this person, the physique of this person. All those will help determine the right person for the right job. The moment you start mixing the interests here, that I'm putting this person here because he's my relative, or because he's so and so has requested, those ones may work against you delivering a successful project. So stick to the purpose, get the right person for the right job. That way, the job will flow without any hiccup, because a person does best what he understands. Remember, people fear the unknown. So if you put me in where I'm very comfortable, chances are very high that I'm going to deliver without using much effort, and that is what is expected of any project. Get the right people who will deliver without using much effort. People who are already used to doing things, possibly performing those functions, and they are well versed with each and every step. That is very important. So get the right person for the right job, and your job will flow smoothly. And what we are doing, I think I've already talked about this. This is basically we are still planning. Then there's something about risks. Any project must have risks. Risk is any happening that might deviate you from the expected goals. Anything that can occur, any occurrence that might deviate you from the expected goals, that is a risk. It becomes worse because when we talk about risk, generally, we have positive risks and we also have negative risks. It is this negative risk that most businesses actually shun out, because positive risk is something that is good for you. So we generally don't put a lot of emphasis on them because it's good for you. But the negative risks, they deviate you from the goal towards the negative side. So we are talking about things that might cause losses, things that might cause injuries, things that might basically cause calamities, things that might make you not to achieve your set objectives, things that might bring about harm, might bring about court cases. Those are negative risks. Now, anything can happen anytime. To be on the safer side, you just need to make sure that you come up with a very good risk analysis matrix, so that you can identify all the possible risks that can come your way. And this you do right at the planning stage. Can you list all the possible risks that might come your way, and be very keen on the impact of those risks versus the probability of them happening, so that at the end of the day, we want to group them and know the high risks. We want to know the medium level risks. We want to know the low risks. And all of them will have the necessary mitigation measures that should be allocated to each of them. And it's very important that we group like high, medium, low, so that we know the level of engagement that we have to give to apportion to each of these. If it's a low risk, we don't have to spend a lot of our resources just to put mitigation measures when it's a low risk. If it's a high risk, then possibly we might want to avoid the whole project altogether, because high risk possibly could mean that the impact is high and maybe the probability of occurrence is also high. So it's very important that you list all the probable risks that might occur before you start, and the management measures that you are supposed to put in place. See if it's possible. If it's possible, go for the project. If it's not possible, don't go for the project if it doesn't have mitigating factors. That is very important, and in most cases, by the time you get the job, it means the risks will have possibly been already catered for. And so what you need, maybe in most cases we see, is a contingency plan, that if this happens, or if this doesn't happen, then we'll take this route. So you can come up with a plan that in case this doesn't happen, this is what we will do. A contingency plan is just like a plan B to take over from the first plan in case things have not worked the way you want, and then you revert back to once you have gone through that stage, you can revert back to the main plan. So it's very important that you list all the risks that may possibly befall you. and then you come up with the management measures, so that it's basically trying to preempt the risk. When they come, you had already planned for them, so it becomes very easy, and you'll not be thrown into that reactionary kind of style where everything you don't know where to go. You start acting in emergency like state, and this will mess you up. You end up spending a lot of resources and so many things. So to avoid all those things, it's always good to see the future in advance. And I like what that guy is doing. You can see he's trying to check what the future has for them. But what is the topic here? What is the whole what you're supposed to discuss here? That we should manage other people's expectations. And I want to believe this is the leader. It is the leader who should manage other people's expectation. Still under planning. Remember, we said the leader who has the vision is a vision carrier, and so he has the goals, he has the objectives. He's supposed to lead these people there. So how will he lead these people if he doesn't know this? He needs to be very clear of where he's leading the people to, because he is the bearer of the direction. And for him to work with these people, he has to understand these people very well. He has to know their expectations and manage their expectations. Otherwise, people are different. There are people here who are, these are the characteristics of people. We have people who are, there's this book that group people, blue, people characteristics. Blue, you have the blues, we have the greens, we have the reds, and we have the yellows. We have people who are unruly. We have people who are so, lifeists. We have people who are so calm and they don't like changes. We have people who are specific to details. People have different characteristics. It is the work of this manager to manage these people's expectation by showing them a unity of purpose. I think we talked about this, unity of purpose, that this is where we're heading, and for us to get there, this is how we should possibly behave, this is how we should go about it. That is very important. So make sure that you create teams and that will try that will check on the expectations of these people and consolidate all the expectations towards what the project simply expects at the very end of its performance. That is very important. So once you have these people, you have consolidated them, and we have teams, and you have them, you can manage the expectation, you know what they want, and you are ready to go. Then let's start executing the plan. When you have these people, everything, resources are already with you. Let's start executing the plan. When we talk about execution, that is actualization. The leadership style is very key. There are people who want to be involved in everything. They want to be seen as having participated in what they are doing. There are people who are unruly, and unless you coerce them, they will not give you the results. There are people who will not want to be followed around. So once you tell them that this is what I expect, this is what the project should deliver, these are the objectives, this is what you should possibly deliver at the end of the day or at the end of the month, they don't want you to keep on following them. So give them the task and they will do it perfectly without any supervision. And there are people who will want to see themselves as growing. So as much as they are doing this job for you, or the project, they are implementing the project, they are consistently asking themselves, am I also progressing as a person? Am I developing? Am I growing as a person? Is there some value addition to me as a person? So those people are also there. We have people who will want to be rewarded for every little thing that they do right. So if I've done this thing right, I'll want to be rewarded. And he also fears doing wrong things because he knows that if he does a wrong thing, he might be punished. So those people are also here. We have people who will work well under rules. We have people who will work well under rules, that you have to report by 8 and work all the way up to 5, and they will stick to that. We have people who will want to see you as the leader, working, leading by example. They want to take you as the role model, so that what you do is what they will do. Those people will also be there. So what are we saying? That as a leader, understand your people and apply the best leadership style. It's the best leadership style that will help you make the project successful. Don't apply autocratic leadership style to a person who expects or works best under laissez-faire. Don't apply the bureaucratic style to a person who is after transformation. And you may not apply this transformational style to a person who is transactional. So understand your people well and work with them. Apply the best leadership style for each of those persons. A good leader should be flexible and look at the situation. We have this called the situational style of leadership. Look at the situation, understand the situation, and apply the best leadership style. That way, all these people will feel like you are with them and you actually understand them and they are getting the best deal. And at the end, they will work, they will give you their best, and you will enjoy in terms of having a successful project. As a leader, again, why are we stressing on leadership? Because leader basically influences, and the subordinates of the other staff follow him. So it's very important that we get the leadership right. As a leader, know what's going on. How do you know what's going on? We say that a leader is always at the front. Why at the front? Because he is the direction carrier. He knows the direction. A good leader should again be with the people. Why with the people? So that he can feel what they are going through. So a leader should be with the people so that he also feels whatever the people are going through. And this same good leader should be at the back. Why at the back? To make sure that everybody is walking the same direction and nobody is being left behind. So if you're talking about this one person being at the back, being at the center, being at the front, is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Have your ears on the ground. Have your people. Understand everything that is taking place. A good leader opens communication, has open communication channels. And these open communication channels will help them understand what is happening at the back, what is happening at the front, and know what is happening at the center. At all the times. If you have open communication channel, you have people who can freely report, who can freely talk to you, then chances are very high that you will know what's going on, both inside, within, and outside. Focus on the outside because you are the vision carrier. You have the goal, you know what is supposed to be delivered by the project. So focus on that. Focus on what the external environment has. But at the same time, know what is going on inside. The next point is tell people what's going on. Remember, these people are your followers. Yeah, in fact, this is a very good diagram. It's you who who is at the forefront. So you can see what is happening outside this project. You can see what is happening outside this project. They are following you. They are following you. You can see they are extending their hands. They are following you. So it is your duty to communicate to them what this external environment has in store for you as a whole. So any information you get there that you think will be relevant, it's good to share. In fact, to put it plainly, communication is key in the success of any project. And in most cases, projects that end up not unsuccessful, most cases, if you try to find out what the problem is, you will end up here in communication. And that's why we are insisting that know what is going on. The best way to know what is going on through communication, and tell people what's going on. The best way to tell people what's going on is through communication. Keep on repeating the steps until the project is done. Keep on repeating the steps until the project is done. But as you keep on repeating the steps, there's an I here. This I stands for monitoring. As you continue with the implementation stage, monitor and evaluate. Are we on the right track? If you are not on the right track, let's take what? The corrective measures. Don't wait to finish before you can take the corrective measures, please. And once you are done, we have said do a post-mortem or review the project. These are lessons that will be extended or transferred to the next project. You don't want to miss this lesson. So what have you learned? Every project has a lesson, whether good or bad. So do a post-mortem, take notes on what the project has possibly added to your database of experience. With that, thank you. Thank you so much. We are available. Our website address www.globalpointconsultants.com. Thank you.